Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
A great day to you, and welcome to another edition of My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Zach Turkel. Our special guest today is Larry Lamendola, the first Vice President of the Wantagh Lions Club, and Ben DiMarco, the second Vice President. The Lions Club is an international organization started in 1917 in Chicago by a business leader named Melvin Jones. The vision of Mr. Jones was for the betterment of their communities and the world. Larry Lamendola joined the Lions Club in 2015 after retirement. Larry was enrolled as a student at Nassau Community College in September of 1976. He came to WHPC in January of 1977 and met up with the program director, Jim Green. Larry cut his teeth here at WHPC and further honed his skills at CW Post, working at WCWP. After graduating from CW Post in 1980, Larry Lamendola embarked on an 11-year radio career. Larry worked locally at WCTO and WALK. He then worked during the General Assembly in 1980 at United Nations Radio. He later worked as a broadcast engineer at the RKO radio networks in 1980 to 1991. The network was later known as United States Radio Networks and Unistar Radio Networks. Larry then worked for Geico for 23 years as a claims examiner before retiring. Ben DiMarco is the second Vice President of the Wantagh Lions Club. Ben is retired. Ben also attended Nassau Community College and graduated CW Post College. Ben spent his career in sales with Donnelly Yellow Pages and later with Verizon. Ben and Larry, welcome to the show. Ben, can you tell us, and Larry, what made each of you join the Lions Club?
I joined the Lions Club. It was kind of strange. I knew I wanted to do something for the local community, and I said, well, the internet. We're a slave to the internet, and I just went on to the internet, and I was looking at all sorts of civic organizations, and I saw the Lions Club, and I saw a bunch of pictures, and these people they look like they're having fun what they're doing. And I looked and I said, they meet every second Wednesday of every month, and at a place called the Nook in Wantagh. So I showed up there, and first person I met was Lion Barry, and Barry, he had a strange accent. Then I found out later on he's from New Zealand, and he welcomed me. I went to the first meeting. I saw Ben there that day, and ever since then, it's been just fantastic. Very heartwarming. We do lots of good things for the community.
Ben, what about you? Did you just walk in and find you were in the wrong place and
no,
you got hooked in?
Somewhat similar to Larry. I had known the president, which was Greg Markin, or still is, as a matter of fact. And what happened was that when I knew him at his place of business, and he said, why don't you come in and do something, because you're retired, and we've spoken before. And so I did. I went to a meeting and decided to sit there, and he said, what do you think at the end of the meeting? I said, I'm in. Paid my dues, and ever since that, maybe a month later, I met Larry, and away we go with that.
Sounds like at least one part of the Lions Club, they have good salesmen in their administration. They hook you right in.
Good at convincing, yeah.
That's right. Larry and I just, from the first meeting on, we started doing a couple of things together, and it worked.
What I love is that, Ben, it just took you, like 5 minutes to join the Lions Club?
Pretty much. It was pretty much, because
it's amazing.
You sit there through a meeting, and either you like it or you don't. And you have to want to give, you have to want to return, and that's basically it. It's doing the right thing, doing a good thing.
Larry or Ben, can you give us a brief history of the Lions Club?
Okay, and this is really directly off the website, and I can tell you the mission statement of the Lions Club is to empower volunteers to serve their communities, meet humanitarian needs, encourage peace, and promote international understanding through Lions Club. And the vision statement is to be a global leader in community and humanitarian service. Back in 1917, a fellow by the name of Melvin Jones, a 38-year-old businessman, told local members of his community that they should reach beyond business issues and address betterment of communities around the world. And the Jones Group, the business group, agreed. I'll give you just a brief thumbnail timeline of the Lions Club. They went international. The Lions in 1920. They had their first club in Canada. 1927, Mexico followed. In the 50s and 60s, there was tremendous international growth in Europe and Asia and Africa. Big thing happened in 1925. Helen Keller addressed the Lions Club International Convention in Ohio and challenged the Lions to become Knights of the Blind in the crusade against darkness. And since then, the Lions have worked tirelessly to aid the blind and visually impaired. Something that Ben and I do is we go to local stores, libraries, and schools, and we leave a nice little box there, and people put their glasses, and every once in a while we get a phone call, can you please collect the glasses, and these glasses help people not only throughout the United States but throughout the world. Another thing that happened in 1945, we all know about the United Nations. The only or the first group that was there that wasn't a nation was the Lions Club, working on the charter for the United Nations. Back in 1957, we all know about the Kiwanis Club, and they have something called the Key Club. We have something similar, and that was created called the Leo program. This is how kids in high school can become community, active in the community, helping out people, and they are our future Lions. 1987 was a big time for the Lions. Our first female members.
I was going to ask you that. Somehow I think of these clubs as just men-oriented, but it might be an old view.
Yeah.
There are female, and is there any age limits, restrictions?
Anyone who likes to join is welcome. And we hold no preconceived thinking on age or whatever, or job status. You could be working full-time, part-time, or retired. Doesn't matter. All we ask is that people get involved and do the right thing for the community and help out in any way they can as far as fundraising or attending the events and doing the things there that need to be done to make it successful.
Now, if someone is considering joining or hearing this, what type of commitment is involved? How often do you meet? Is it one meeting a month? Is it a lunch meeting? Dinner?
We meet once a month usually, and it's at, as Larry stated before, where it's at the Nook, which is in Wantagh on Sunrise Highway. And the owner there is kind enough to give us a room for free. Mm-hmm. And then we just meet and we discuss our strategies and what we're going to be involved in and where do we want to go from there. And Larry and I, we speak a lot to each other as we're doing this road show or road shows, and we're coming up with different ideas which we'd love to share with you, but we're not going to because we have to explore them, think them out carefully, pros, cons, and then also bring it to the president of the club where then it can be discussed by the other members. But Larry and I are just kicking things around to elevate it. And some of the members have come out and said, thank you for elevating the club and taking it above where it is now. Because Larry and I have the time and we enjoy doing what we're doing. Otherwise, well, we wouldn't.
And obviously, just talking to you gentlemen, you're both professional businessmen who are retired, so you can add your backgrounds to it. Larry in radio, yourself
sales,
in business and sales.
Field sales, absolutely.
And getting out and talking to the community, helping people. And all of the money you tell me that you guys bring in, it's not for yourselves. Nothing goes to, which is amazing. Any of the charities we think of, they all take a pretty good cut off the top.
Right.
Everything goes back into that immediate community.
Right. Anytime we have an event that we're doing for ourselves, we have something called Lions Dollars, where at the end of each meeting we throw in anywhere from $1 to $5, and it does add up at the end of the year. That's our money. If we want to have a party or something of that sort, that's separate from what we were giving out to the community.
I don't think people sometimes realize that, though. They see these ads on TV and they want to give because it's a sad dog or a child who needs it. But so much money goes to administration. These community groups, that's right there in their own community, whether they live in Mineola, Westbury, Riverhead, it's right there. And like your own group, the Lions. Now, if somebody wants to get in touch, before we go back to Zach, is there a contact some information that you could give us if they're interested? And do they have to live in Wantagh, or could they live in the adjoining, a close-by town?
Before I give the contact information, I just want to go over that it's not only the Wantagh Lions Club. I have a little booklet here that just tells you Lions clubs just throughout Long Island. I mean, the Wantagh Lions Club was actually chartered in 1988. There are so many Lions clubs across Long Island: West Hempstead, Valley Stream, Seaford, Seacliff, Glenhead. There's Plainview, Bethpage, Oyster Bay, Port Washington, New Hyde Park, Merrick, Massapequa Park. There's
this sounds like the guy on the train, the conductor yelling where the train's going to stop.
Change at Jamaica.
But let's say they want yours. Where can they get in touch with you? Because I want to get you some donations.
Absolutely. The Wantagh Lions Club, you can get in contact with us at wantaghlions@gmail.com. We have a website, www.wantaghlions.org. I'll give you Ben and I our contact numbers. Mine is 516-382-3369, and Ben's 516-456-2426. So that's how you can.
We'll ask you for that information again. So if someone didn't get it down,
certainly.
And you guys both seem like nice guys. So I'm sure if someone is 2 or 3 towns away and wants to join a more local one, you'll help them connect.
Well, as we stated before, I myself do not live in Wantagh. I live in Seaford, the next town over.
And they even let you in.
Yes, they did.
Wow, they're nice guys.
They did only because they knew my wife.
That's okay.
Because she went to Wantagh.
You had
in
Wantagh.
So I had an in. But just what Larry did over the numbers, I just want to give some numbers out to the general audience there. There's 46,000 clubs, Wantagh Lions Club, throughout the world. International group with 1.4 million members, and we have served over 200 million people in that space.
Those are great numbers. No, there's no doubt what you're doing is terrific.
Very
That's
impressive.
why we want people to know. And if they're sitting home, or maybe what I can do in some spare time, if they're working part-time, retired, or if they're working, there's so much more they can do. Get involved, meet professional gentlemen, ladies like yourself, in your group.
Exactly. We want people to join.
Sometimes people are looking just for that, so this may be the message that reaches out.
Well, like Larry did, he went on the radio, not the radio, but he went on the internet to discover what to do or find out what to do, and
that's
I'm glad you did. Glad you did.
Yeah. Larry or Ben, how many members are in the Lions Club in Wantagh specifically?
Specifically, we have. It's really not a lot. We only have 24 members. Hence, we'd love to have you if you're listening in Wantagh and you have a desire to serve the community. Please join us.
Are there any, certain people that you say is a good fit? I mean, you were a salesman. You were in radio. Is there a background that seems common to the group, the men and the women of the group?
We have, people that, work for local companies like Northwell. We even have a judge.
That's always good to have a judge there.
Yeah,
you get those parking tickets,
yes.
Always good.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Zach?
Do you have a website specifically? I know you mentioned before you read the statement on the website, but what's the actual website's address?
The actual website address is wantaghlions.org. Okay. And our email address is wantaghlions@gmail.com. And everything's on there, including the events we have done, the events we're going to do, and the whole schedule of events there, and any contact information they wish to draw from the website, and then hopefully join.
Very informative, yeah.
Gentlemen, at this point in the show, we're going to take a brief break from my hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Our guest today is Larry Lamendola, the first vice president of the Wantagh Lions Club, and Ben DiMarco, the second vice president. We'll be right back after this brief intermission.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix.